So my future mother-in-law attempted to bribe me away, as if I were some unwanted obstacle she could simply pay to vanish. $50,000. That was supposedly my value to permanently exit her darling son's world. That was the amount she deemed sufficient to remove me from his life for good. I'm still so furious that my hands are shaking as I write this. A bit of background first, since I know context is needed. I'm 29. My fiancé, Damien, is 31. We've been a couple for nearly 4 years. Our wedding was planned for 5 months from now. Was planned. At this point, I'm not sure anymore. Damien is truly one of the kindest people I've ever known. After dating a string of average guys in my early 20s, meeting someone who treats me with genuine respect felt like striking gold. His family, however, that's where it gets messy. His mother, Teresa, has never approved of me. I sensed it almost immediately, but I kept convincing myself it would improve. She just needed time to accept me. She was overly protective of her son, any excuse I could come up with. She's the type who believes her son is perfection itself and no woman could ever measure up. Every previous girlfriend apparently had flaws based on the tales she shares. Too needy, too self-reliant, too driven, not driven enough. There's always a reason. With me, though, it felt worse. She remained courteous to my face for the first year or so, distant but courteous. Then Damien and I moved in together and her attitude shifted. She began dropping subtle criticisms. Small jabs now and then, about my choice of home decor, about my cooking, about how I allowed Damien to handle certain responsibilities, as if she required veto power over our relationship dynamic. I ignored it because Damien always intervened when she crossed a line, and I thought that was sufficient. Then we got engaged, and Teresa completely unraveled. She wept during the announcement dinner, not joyful tears. Real grief-stricken crying, as if mourning a loss. She eventually composed herself and attributed it to overwhelming happiness. But I caught her expression when Damien presented the ring. That wasn't happiness. Wedding preparations have been torture. She has strong views on every detail. The location is unsuitable. The color scheme is tasteless. The invite list must include her whole extended relatives, even those I've never encountered. She attempted to join me for dress shopping, and when I requested only my mom and my closest friend Miriam, she acted as though I'd insulted her deeply. Damien continues to mediate, but it's draining for us both. So when she messaged me 2 weeks ago inviting me to lunch, just us, saying she wanted to bond before the wedding, I actually felt optimistic. Naive, huh? I thought perhaps she was finally softening. Maybe she recognized her harshness and wished to repair things. Damien was excited when I mentioned it. He suggested this could be the breakthrough. The breakthrough. Yeah, right. She chose a high-end restaurant in the city center. The sort with crisp linens and an extensive wine menu. I put on a lovely dress, fixed my hair and makeup, tried to appear like the daughter-in-law she might actually approve of. I'm mortified recalling how much I tried for someone about to attempt to pay me to vanish. We sat, and she ordered wine without consulting me, which was typical of her. She chatted lightly for perhaps 3 minutes, inquired about my job, asked if we'd chosen the photographer, standard topics. Then she placed her checkbook on the table, casually as if settling a tab. I'll give you $50,000 to end things with my son. I stared. I actually chuckled. I assumed it was some odd joke I missed, but her expression was serious. She looked like she was closing a deal, like she'd calculated and found this a fair proposal. She continued speaking. Claimed she'd investigated. About me, about my health issue. Said she knew I couldn't bear Damien children and that rendered me inadequate. That term, inadequate, as if I were a faulty product she wanted refunded. She said her son merited a partner capable of providing a true family, not someone who was lacking. I need to pause because I know questions are coming about the condition. I have a disorder that makes natural pregnancy virtually impossible. I learned this at 23 and it crushed me. I experienced every phase, sorrow, rage, bargaining, all of it. It took years to accept that biological kids likely weren't possible, and that didn't diminish my value as a woman. Damien knows all of it. I disclosed everything on our 5th date because I refused to invest time if it was a non-negotiable for him. He said it wasn't. He mentioned he'd always been open to adoption regardless. We've discussed it in depth. We've explored agencies. We have a full plan for post-wedding. This wasn't hidden or a surprise. He selected this path. He selected me fully aware of our future, but Teresa there declaring me inadequate, declaring I couldn't provide her son a true family, as if adopted kids aren't legitimate, as if the family Damien and I are creating isn't authentic because it won't mirror hers. I informed her Damien was already aware, that we'd covered it all, that adoption was our plan. She let out a patronizing laugh, this dismissive sound that made me want to splash my drink at her. She said, "Oh dear," called me dear. As if I were a clueless youngster she was educating. She claimed Damien was merely being kind, that he pitied me, that no man truly desires flawed merchandise permanently, and I should accept the funds before he saw he was compromising. Flawed merchandise. She labeled me flawed merchandise. I rose so quickly my seat toppled. The entire place stared, but I didn't mind. I declared she was delusional if she believed her son was compromising with me. I said she understood nothing about our bond. I told her to keep her $50,000 since I wasn't purchasable. She remained seated, clutching that check, eyeing me as if I were overreacting unreasonably, as if she hadn't just attempted to bribe me away like an issue solvable with cash. She dared to appear mortified, not remorseful, mortified, as if I were the troublemaker for refusing to silently take her offer and fade away. I stormed out, left her with her elegant wine and checkbook and vile views on my humanity. I trembled the whole drive to Damien's workplace. I replayed her words endlessly. Inadequate, flawed merchandise. No man truly desires you. Compromising. It all swirled, making me nauseous and enraged simultaneously. I arrived unannounced. The receptionist recognized me and waved me through, and I located Damien in his office. The moment he saw me, he knew something major was wrong. He stood quickly, asking if I was all right. What occurred? And I just poured it out, recounted every detail. The $50,000, the checkbook, the digging into my medical records. Inadequate, flawed merchandise. The claim he was compromising because he pitied me. His expression shifted as I spoke. From worry to shock to pure fury, I'd never witnessed him so livid. His jaw tightened intensely. He seized his phone and dialed her immediately. On speaker. She answered brightly. "Hello, darling, how's your afternoon?" As if she hadn't just tried to bribe his fiancé away hours earlier, he cut her off. Demanded to know what was wrong with her. She feigned ignorance first. "What do you mean? Why the shouting? What's wrong?" But Damien pressed. He said he knew it all, that I was right there, that he'd heard every word from that restaurant. And guess what she did? No apology, no denial. She defended herself. She ranted about protecting him. How any devoted mother would act similarly. How I'd ensnared him with my tragic infertility tale and she was offering an escape before it was irreversible. She claimed she cared too deeply to watch him ruin his life with someone unable to give him what he merited. Damien shouted back, said I hadn't ensnared him, that he knew about my condition early and chose me anyway, that she had no authority over his choices or to bribe his future wife like a nuisance. She began weeping, naturally, her go-to when Damien resisted strongly. Tears emerged, positioning her as the wronged party. But this time he held firm, declared her actions unforgivable, demanded she apologize to me, truly. And she refused, saying she'd never regret loving her son and safeguarding his future. He ended the call. Abruptly, while she sobbed and justified. We remained in his office perhaps an hour afterward. He repeatedly apologized for her, said he couldn't fathom her behavior, vowed to address it, but something gnaws at me. And I need honesty on whether I'm overthinking. As we spoke, his phone buzzed non-stop. His father Harold rang repeatedly. His sister Annabelle messaged. Teresa had evidently alerted the entire family right after the hang-up, pushing her narrative first. Annabelle's messages inquired what occurred and noted their mom was distraught, alleging I'd assaulted her at the restaurant. Assaulted her, I rose and departed. That's the assault, apparently. Damien eventually returned his dad's call on speaker. Harold aimed to mediate, suggested calming down. Said stories have multiple perspectives and perhaps a group discussion as mature adults. Damien asked if his dad knew about the bribe, if he knew she'd offered $50,000 for me to leave. Long silence. Then Harold said, well, she noted a discussion with you regarding the future. A discussion regarding the future. That's their spin. As if his wife hadn't labeled me inadequate and flawed merchandise. As if she hadn't tried to purchase my exit, a future discussion. Damien exploded again, recited every word to his dad, the inadequate remark, flawed merchandise, the compromising, everything. Harold went silent. Then said, you know your mother's tendencies. She's concerned about grandkids. She didn't intend it that way. Didn't intend it that way. She labeled me broken, said no man would truly desire me. Offered cash for my disappearance. How else to interpret? Damien said he needed space and hung up. That was 5 days ago. Since pure turmoil. Teresa messages Damien incessantly, no remorse, just justifications, endlessly, long texts on protecting him, on not intending harm, on wanting his best, on adoption differing from biological kids and desiring his deserved life. She hasn't contacted me, no apology attempt to me, just pushes Damien to see her view. Annabelle phoned me yesterday. She tried kindness, but essentially urged dropping it for family unity. Said their mom erred but was from another era and phrased poorly. Asked if perhaps I was overly emotional about it. Overly emotional. Someone labeled me inadequate and flawed merchandise and bribed my exit, and I'm overly emotional. I told Annabelle her mother owed me remorse, and until then, no discussion. She sighed as if I were unreasonable and hoped I'd rethink since it was fracturing the family. I'm not fracturing this family. Your mother did when she deemed me unworthy due to my condition. Damien is solidly with me. He barely communicates with his mother. He informed his dad and sister know both sides here, and until Teresa sincerely apologizes to me, no pretending normalcy. But there's always a catch, right? His parents' anniversary event is next weekend, planned for months. Grand affair at a booked venue, relatives traveling, full spectacle. Harold phoned Damien last night insisting attendance. Said absence would signal escalation unnecessarily. Said Teresa was ready to overlook if I was. Ready to overlook, not apologize, not admit fault, just overlook. As if I should ignore her labeling me broken and bribing me because of a celebration. Damien said we'd consider. Post-call, we discussed endlessly. He vowed full support. If I skipped, he'd skip. If I attended confidently, he'd stand beside me. Said my decision. I don't know the best choice. Part wants to arrive stunning and unaffected, proving she can't scare me. Part believes attending lets her prevail. Lets her think mistreating me yields compliance for optics. And the scariest part wonders if joining this family is worthwhile. I adore Damien, truly. He's supported me fully. Choosing me over them must hurt him deeply. But envisioning decades of holidays with Teresa. Gatherings with her present. Her as grandma to our adopted kids, likely favoring them less than Annabelle's biological ones. Is love sufficient for a mother-in-law viewing you as inadequate? I oscillate, one moment fighting for us, defying Teresa. Next wondering if accepting the bribe would spare future pain. Damien doesn't know my doubts. I avoid hurting him by admitting his family causes reconsideration, but thoughts persist. His mom didn't just offend me. She revealed her true view of me, and I doubt change regardless of forced remorse. Anniversary event in 6 days. Damien awaits my choice on attending. His family pressures him to resolve, meaning silence me and conform. I haven't decided. What would you choose? Top comments. Commenter 1, run seriously. This concerns decades ahead, Christmases with her, birthdays, your kids' milestones. She revealed her true self and opinion of you. Damien's wonderful, but he was raised by her. His dad downplays, sister urges forgiveness. This family is dysfunctional, you're about to join permanently. The problem removed itself. Don't retrieve it. Commenter 2, downvotes incoming, but must ask. Certain Damien was unaware. His mom orchestrated fully, selected venue, had check ready, researched deeply. Possible he knew of a talk, but not extremes. Not accusing complicity, but these aren't spontaneous. Moms don't suddenly bribe fiancés away. Ops reply, I considered, but no. His reaction was pure shock, not acting. His rage on the call was authentic. But yes, she'd planned long, meaning months, years of plotting my removal while faking smiles at gatherings. First update. Back now. You all were accurate on much, inaccurate on some. The past 9 days were a whirlwind I wasn't ready for. First, gratitude to every commenter on the original. I read all. Those urging escape, those saying battle, those insulting Teresa creatively. I needed it all as events tested my knowledge of this family and myself. About the anniversary event, where escalation occurred unexpectedly. Damien and I debated attendance for days. I leaned toward skipping until Miriam visited with wine 2 nights prior. We talked for hours as I ranted. Her view shifted mine. She argued absence lets Teresa triumph, playing victim all evening, blaming me as dramatic. But attending radiant and unfazed is true strength. Best retaliation against someone wanting your erasure is presence and composure. It resonated, though hiding tempted. Damien concurred and added wanting relatives to witness our unity. That her scheme failed, we remained strong. So I prepared extensively, wore a saved emerald gown, styled properly, and resolved to enter hostile ground looking fierce. Event at rented hall with guests. Distant relatives, friends, neighbors, decorated with decades of Harold/Teresa photos. Wedding, trips, kids' childhoods. 35 years showcased like a tribute to their ideal union. Teresa spotted our arrival. Her face flickered annoyance briefly, perhaps hoping I'd stay away. She wore ivory and pearls, perfect hostess for her flawless marriage while I knew her recent cruelty. She avoided greeting. Harold approached, hugged Damien, gave me awkward embrace, said glad we attended, hoped evening focused on unity, which felt ironic given his wife's bribe and insults. But I smiled stiffly. Damien steered me away silently as what to reply. Thanks for ignoring your wife's payoff attempt. First hour tolerable. Chatted with Damien's Portland aunt-uncle, met cousins, nibbled hors d'oeuvres, sipped champagne while Teresa orbited distantly. We avoided direct contact. I thought possible to endure avoiding while appearing joyful and united, but dinner brought assigned seats. At central family table with them, Annabelle, husband Vincent, spotlight for all to observe our facade. Dinner agonizing. Teresa spoke to all but me, Damien's work, Annabelle's kids, Vincent's golf, eyes skipping me as if my seat vacant. I stayed quiet, ate, sipped wine, recalled Miriam's advice on irrelevance, but hard feeling empowered when erased publicly. Then Harold toasted 35 years partnership, gratitude for kids growing families, named Annabelle/Vincent/kids, then welcomed future daughter-in-law, hoped I felt included despite hurdles. Hurdles. His term for wife's bribe and insults. Minor obstacle, not profound attack on my worth. Worse followed. Teresa added words, eyeing me first time on family importance, lifelong building protecting imperfection but love-driven actions. Said motherhood requires tough decisions. She'd do anything for kids. Sometimes love means guarding when unappreciated. Referencing me, excusing actions veiled to 70 guests, portraying devoted mom versus her bribe attempt. Damien gripped my hand tightly. We sat through her act. Crowd applauded her beautiful words, not the veiled sabotage making me want chaos. Post-toasts, I needed air, went to patio. Stared at lot calming when Teresa emerged. Approached casually as if coincidental, stood beside viewing cars like friendly chat possible. Said glad I attended, showed maturity prioritizing family, hoped we could leave disagreement behind, advance. Disagreement. Her label. I asked if serious, calling it minor when she labeled me inadequate, offered $50,000 exit, said flawed merchandise no man wants permanently, not minor but assault on dignity. She wore patient expression for troublesome kid. Sorry I internalized but merely voicing concerns. Any mom worries son marrying infertile woman. Not personal, practical. My infertility as logical issue, not grieved personal tragedy pre-meeting her son. I said Damien knew pre-seriousness. Chose me, excited adoption unlike her viewing biology soul family validator. Then she claimed adoption unequal. Adopted kids never truly yours, always gap, eventually straining marriage. Cited friends adopting, kids sensing outsider status, parents questioning origins, issues biological families avoid. Delivered as fact, not bigotry. I called nonsense, adopted families equally bonded loving. She shook head me young naive misunderstanding reality. Said Damien claims acceptance now, but decade later seeing Annabelle's kids, lacking genetic tie to his, he'd ache, regret, blame me. Said men appease, Damien compassionate, sparing hurt but instinctively craves legacy. Kids resembling him, sharing genes, I selfish, denying that. Selfish. For uncontrollable condition I'd alter if possible. I said she misjudges son. He initiated adoption talks, researched, enthused. She laughed, good man optimizing poor circumstances. But choice between fertile, infertile, biology prevails. I trembled, demanded stop, her view irrelevant. We'd marry regardless. She paused, said hoped money sufficed for graceful exit, all move on. But since insistent must know, she'd never fully embrace adopted grandkids, Annabelle's blood always priority. No pretense as I deserve clarity entering marriage. Said our kids would sense second-tier status. I stared, this calm declaration of favoritism toward innocence, presented as inevitable truth to accept. Said she's awful. No child merits that, if unequal love, undeserving of any grandkids. She said my decision, but consider Damien. Denying grandma access divides family. I'd cause rift, not her. Then re-entered like concluded. I stood reeling at composed cruelty. Re-entering, found Damien pulled to private hall, recounted patio. Non-acceptance adopted kids, favoritism Annabelle's, our children's second class. His face cycled emotions, confusion, rage, disbelief, hurt. Insisted she didn't mean just provoking wouldn't harm kids, but I challenged post-prior actions if truly bluffing. His silence spoke volumes. We left early, citing my unwellness, drive home quiet bar his repeated apologies, vows to confront fix. But I fixated on her vow unequal treatment. How repair such belief? Following days strained. Damien pursued talks. She dodged short replies on cleanup. He messaged meeting requests delayed. Meanwhile, Annabelle messaged check-ins post-early exit, then probing patio incident as mom acted odd, subdued, scheming perhaps. I hesitated sharing given prior minimization sensitivity claim, trust uncertain. But craved family insight, Teresa always thus or hidden history, so suggested meet, lunched near her. Recounted patio. Adoption views, non-acceptance real grandkids, second-class future. Annabelle quiet, stared plate long, then unsurprised. Said mom always emphasized blood legacy family from lineage-obsessed background, holidays discussing ancestry importantly. Mom commented years back on friend's adoption. Charity but unequal, child always different, not true legacy heir. Annabelle disagreed then. Mom dismissed as modern idealistic would shift post-kids. I asked Annabelle's stance. Agree mom, treat adopted differently? She said no, kids are kids, family love transcends biology. But then unsettled me. Understood mom's roots, not malicious, just traditional hard-shifting beliefs. Perhaps time softens post-meeting kids, seeing deserving love. I questioned true change capacity post-actions. She hesitated, honestly unsure but hopeful for all. Hope felt weak foundation. Thanked honesty, home awaited Damien, who'd finally visited parents that afternoon for delayed confrontation. There 3 hours by my return, then 4, 5, no text replies. Home finally he appeared depleted, not furious, just emptied. Sat couch, I joined, he detailed. Arrival normalcy attempt, drinks, work chat. He insisted patio discussion. She defensive, questioned my claims of misunderstanding. He affirmed my truthfulness, trusted me, seeing her clearly. She shifted, upset he cited 4-year partner over lifelong razor. Ranted sacrifices, sleepless worries, devoted motherhood repaid by betrayal. He clarified not sides but basic decency for future kids. She teared, sorry phrasing, of course love grandkids, just concerned adoption harder, marital strain. He asked direct equal treatment as Annabelle's, love attention gifts time, hesitation revealed all. Then said she'd try, feelings unforceable, best effort equality. Try, attempt avoiding making kids feel lesser. He said insufficient, if no full commitment, perhaps no role. She erupted, abandoning family for me, I'd brainwashed, manipulative using condition as unable better, someday he'd see, return begging too late. He halted, said proving unsuitability around kids talking thus of mother. She said fine, perhaps skip wedding. He said her choice, if attend, behave, no adoption digs, equal treatment me, no drama, else stay home. She queried disinviting own mother. He clarified conditions attendance her decision. Silence post-tears, he left. Recounting mixed feelings, proud his defense me future, heartbroken necessity, terrified next. Last night suggested postponing wedding, cool-off time, potential shift space. He refused, postponing yields her control, timeline hers, marry 4 months she sorts independently. Want belief but fear, perpetual unchanged. Kids sensing lesser grandma, Damien future resentment sacrificing family ties. He insists no, loves me, chooses us whatever form, but saw post-confrontation face, internal fracture unadmitted. 4 months wedding. Mom's RSVP pending, unknown next. Update when developments, final update. Wedding occurred, must share insanity. 5 days post-honeymoon return. Post-last update worsened then improved. Teresa RSVP'd yes 3 weeks pre-wedding with Harold. Mixed feelings. Wanted presents sparing Damien lifelong regret but feared actions. Damien called post-RSVP confirming conditions. No adoption remarks, equal me, no scenes. She agreed just support son's day behave. Doubted fully but couldn't uninvite post-agreement. Focused planning hoped best. Ceremony gorgeous, outdoor venue lights flowers. I'll walk to Damien erase Teresa momentarily. Focused marrying love our life. Teresa front row with Harold, tears, joy or sorrow unclear. Didn't care, marrying soulmate, her feelings hers. Reception collapse point. 2 hours in first dance, toasts done, relaxing bathroom trip, hallway Teresa encounter, waited apparently blocked path. Said needed private moment, mother to new daughter-in-law. I said post-wedding fine. Grabbed arm, insisted now, pre-official family, understand key point. Said reflected months, mishandled initially. $50,000 error, shouldn't bribe, sorry, cruel terms, inadequate, flawed merchandise. Stunned, thought real apology until continued. However, always however, still held adoption biology family views, polite civil but never equal feelings adopted versus Annabelle's biological. Clarifying now avoids later confusion accusations misleading pretending. Wanted honest foundation, painful truth. Said not honesty but weaponized cruelty, difference truthful versus hurtful. Could internalize treat kids kindly regardless feelings, instead broadcasting bias nobly. Said naive believing concealable forever, kids sense, better up front than later damage. Actually favoring me clarity, said only favor. Distance future kids if improper love. Expected response, isolating Damien family since start. Threatened by her unbreakable maternal bond, unmatchable so destroying instead. Said delusional, I unthreatened. Her cruelty manipulation self-sabotages Damien bond, done wedding day talk. Tried pass, grabbed arm again, unfinished. Damien appeared hallway end, saw grip pull. Approached demanding explanation. Recounted her cornering non-acceptance adopted kids, pre-joining clarity. Damien asked confirmation wedding day timing. She teared, just honest, no secrets. He differentiated honesty sabotage, new intent wedding joy day. Sorry poor timing, needed air clearing, Damien ordered leave reception. She sobbed scene, guests judge her awful. He said she was awful, consequences hers. Harold arrived seeking, saw scene, Teresa crying, Damien raging, me wedding gowned exhausted. Asked issue, Damien explained wedding day non-acceptance declaration post-behavior promise. Harold asked Teresa truth. She honest, Damien overreacting. Harold paused, apologized us both, took Teresa arm, announced departing. Teresa protested, unwilling leave, Damien regret expelling own wedding. Harold escorted exiting amid tears. We returned reception. Shaken but Miriam noticed, hugged, called Teresa bitter, unable son's happiness. Damien / I danced, cake, photos, salvaged evening, beautiful despite, surrounded genuine supporters. Honeymoon mountain cabin, phones off week, just us drama-free, perfect. Return, Harold voicemails apology Teresa actions, hopes eventual reconciliation. Damien unreplied, needs time, me, finished. Told Damien no relationship his mother, now perhaps ever. His maintenance choice unsupported interference, our kids excluded, he fully understands supports. So status, married, joyful, crafting shared life. His mother excluded, unable except son chose me, bribed $50,000 woman, labeled inadequate flawed merchandise, infertile but fiercely loving future adopted kids. Teresa desired my absence. Instead permanent, she lives with it,